Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's TS Classic preview. I'm joined tonight by JD.
Hello, everybody. Not often I get the chance to do a TS Classic stream or TS22 stream, but I'm glad to be here, and I hope you're doing well tonight, Jamie. Hope everybody at home is also doing really well.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to run two scenarios, sort of part and part, depending on how far we get. Um, One on Tehachapi, one on West Coast Main Line South. We're going to run with a Class 350 for this service because I can show you one of the updates we have on this, and then go from there. So let's just unpause there.
Not driving tonight, Amaze Taze. Sorry, you've not got that delight. I'm not sure my work laptop could take it, unfortunately.
So as before, there was a lot of people who struggled with the DRA, which would be automatically on like that. That's now been turned off, so you now won't have an issue of trying to get the train to move and then realise what have I done wrong and frantically looking around the cab to try and find what you've done wrong. Right, waiting for and here's a 66 with some new containers.
That's handy, isn't it?
Yeah,
Does that segue us nicely onto today's update?
it does. It does indeed. Here we go.
You can see the Hamburg Süd and the Hapag Lloyd branding there, and that's one of the things that, as I say, if you've seen an update today on any of these routes, if you already own Tehachapi, or you own Riesa Dresden, or you own the West Coast Main Line South, you'll start to see some of these filter through into your game as well. There's a lot of other things that we'll come onto a little bit later on in the stream that went on today, but if you head to our forums, you can get the comprehensive list. In fact, you know what, I'll chuck it in the chat of what's changed today with the update that's happened. But we're going to be showing you some of the things that has changed over the course of this stream.
Yeah. So we're just waiting for our path, so we now have a speed restriction of 30 miles an hour, as you can see on the board there. There we go. There we are.
It was a particularly murky day to do this, Jamie.
It said, I'm sure it said clear, and I was like, oh, we'll go on a clear day, and then it's turned out murky. There we go. There we go. Makes it more difficult for me to drive, really.
Yeah, everybody, you might have seen, if you own any of the three routes, an update today. There will also be an update that goes live tomorrow when we launch Train Simulator Classic. That will just give you some nice artwork for the new rebranding of Train Simulator Classic. So if you see an update tomorrow, that's what it is, and also it will enable the Leipzig Riesa extension to be available as well. So yeah, if you see an update tomorrow, that's what that is.
Yeah. Adam P Trains, it should be improved. I mean, I had issues with West Coast Main Line before, but it seems to run a lot smoother for me now. I mean, I'd say on the other PC I had before, I did have issues. I mean, this one seems to be okay. But yeah, I'm sure some lagging has been improved.
Yeah, do you want me to run through the list of improvements, Jamie?
You can indeed. You can indeed.
Cool. Okay, so this is going to be a big long list. We'll start with West Coast Main Line South. We've added the containers, as you saw at the start, the Hamburg Süd and Hapag Lloyd containers, and the new freight consists. We've added the missing Freightliner cranes near Birmingham, and there's a yellow one at Willesden as well. We've removed moved the extra TSS grid at WM488 and moved the links at the same signal. There's platform signals and general fixes to Coventry, Milton Keynes and Birmingham New Street stations. We've removed the extra routes in Avanti 221 preloads, so there's London Brighton, South London and Thameslink and other routes that are not appropriate for that preload. We've updated the textures of Warehouse Brick 03. That sounds like a particularly riveting one. We've replaced all road textures with those used in Cross City, so Birmingham Cross City line. Fixed the missing viaduct textures, reduced the texture size of one freight containers. So I assume that's also a change that coincides with the new containers that we're going to be seeing. We fixed the missing sections of the Strainer Gantry OLE, fixed the DRA being on by default in the Class 350. Is that the one that you mentioned at the start, Jamie?
It is, yes, that's the one I mentioned, yeah.
And there's been some localisation updates as well. We'll come on to Tehachapi in a second, and we'll also touch on the Dresden Riesa improvements as well that you might have seen. So there's quite a long list there. Again, I'll chuck the link in the chat so you can take a look through and not just listen to me ramble through them. You can review them there.
Okay. Yeah, I've gotten to the neutral section. Don't worry, I've shut off.
And the Tehachapi, we can reveal at this point the Tehachapi brakes haven't been fixed. We will be doing actually one of the scenarios that I think people were having problems with beforehand. Is that right, Jamie?
Yeah, it's right indeed. Yeah, I'm gonna run that scenario so we can show that it is working with the brakes now.
Lovely.
Just do a bit of slowing down now. And British Ace is in the chat. Hi, British Ace. Hope you're well. There we go. Right. So we're now going from the slow line to the fast line. So we're just waiting for our path, which we have there. There's the Pendolino now going fast. Now head over, and then we're going to Wolverton then. 4 miles away at the moment. I'm good, British Ace. I'm good.
Mr. Quicko has also asked, how are you both today?
I'm doing well, how are you?
I'm good. As I say, it feels like one of those, it's been a bit of an odd period because us Brits were not used to nice weather, particularly over bank holiday weekends, but it was a very, very nice bank holiday weekend weather-wise, and it meant that most people were outside. Some people got sun-kissed or sunburn, the latter in my case. The weather's carried on. It's been lovely.
I know,
it's a complete contrast to what everybody's able to see on the screen. So
I know. Well, you see, I thought to myself, well, you know, as we've been so lucky, I thought, well, we better bring it back to Britain a little bit and give it a little bit murkiness, but you know. Alright, so. Yes, very true, Moggy, yeah. Hey, you can be very suspicious of good weather. You think to yourself, oh, have we not done something right? Has there something not gone right somehow?
So Mainframe asks, so what is being released tomorrow as far as new content? So, which is a really good question, because I think we perhaps have jumped into driving the trains, which is obviously what everybody's excited about and wants to do. But we haven't perhaps talked a little bit more generally about TS Classic, what it is, and it can be a little bit difficult to get your head around as well. So we'll try and run through exactly what the details of it are, and if you've got any further questions on it, then just please chuck them in the chat and we'll try to answer them. Essentially, TS Classic, think of it as the kind of the annual route pack that we provide for Train Simulator, but we're rebranding Train Simulator. We want to try and help to more easily differentiate between Train Sim World 2 and Train Simulator, and we thought that Train Simulator, bearing in mind that it's been kind of an institution of train sim games in the last well, was it 12
12
years?
years, around 12
Um,
years, yeah, yeah.
we wanted to try and reflect that in the naming, so hence Train Simulator Classic. But what you can expect tomorrow, so you've got the 3 routes that are the kind of the core routes that are part of it, which are West Coast Mainline South. Some people already own that. Don't worry if you do. You don't have to worry about buying it again. You've got Tehachapi Pass, and you've got the Riesa Dresden route, and those are kind of things that were already in the game. So those things you might already own already, and again, you can make a decision as to whether the package is useful or kind of viable enough for you to warrant getting the new pack. But if you don't want the pack, then your train simulator game will change over to Train Simulator Classic without you having to do anything. So you don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
But if you would like to get Train Simulator Classic, the kind of the unique content for that particular pack, again, if you don't own any of those routes as well, that you'll get those routes within it, is the Leipzig to Riesa extension, which is I think about 65 extra kilometers onto that route, which is quite an interesting addition to that particular route. You can also, if you want to, grab that extension separately if you already own all 3 of those routes and you don't want to get the classic bundle. So there's quite a lot of options. If you don't want to do anything, that's fine. It'll just tick over to Train Simulator Classic tomorrow without you having to do anything. But if you're looking to get any of these routes, or get all 3 of them, or just 2 of them, or just the extension, you have the option to do so tomorrow. Hopefully that gives you a little bit more context. You might have seen an update today. If you own any of these routes already, that's a kind of what we're calling a core update to those routes in the build up to the release. So there will be a few things that will be changed and a few improvements that have been made on these specific routes that we're featuring within this bundle or package.
Yeah, so there's been, as we said in the list earlier, there's quite a lot of quite a few updates. I mean, the West Coast Mainline South, when it first releases, has had quite a lot. I think this is now its 3rd patch for West Coast Mainline South, so there's already been quite a few updates for it already. As I pointed out, there's some of the updates, you know, within the cab of the 350, and then some of the platform clipping issues and bits and pieces they've now been looked into, as JD mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and importantly as well, I think, Jamie, one of the things maybe, because I know West Coast Mainline was released and it probably didn't get the best reception in the world, but there have been a few updates in the interim period between the route releasing and now as well, which I think generally, again, you might want to look at the reviews on Steam, but in general have improved the route quite considerably since what you might have seen on the launch. So again, worth checking those out. And as I say, we're showing you what the route currently looks like in its, well, we won't show it in its entirety. That will take a while.
Yeah.
We'll show you what we can tonight.
It's quite a long route.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone's asked, any news about getting Steam Deck verified? No, sorry, nothing at this stage.
Another 350 passing us.
Question from Adam: what time will the update come out? It will. So the way that it works with Valve in particular is if there is, they sometimes have to put things manually live, and this is the case with TS Classic. In which case, that will mean that it's likely to be when they are able to do so, which is West Coast US time. So it's likely to be late afternoon UK time, or late afternoon UK time.
Still put some power on. Got quite a while before Milton Keynes. 350.
Not a million miles away from me, Milton Keynes.
Oh really? Oh, I'm driving down near your neck of the woods then.
Yeah, I would go straight through Milton Keynes if I could. Actually, no, on a train is probably better than going through it on the with a car, with all of the roundabouts that you have to try and negotiate within Milton Keynes.
Yeah, I've been once through Milton Keynes and I was amazed at how many roundabouts there were.
It takes forever.
It does. Yeah.
Sharif wants to ask, any core engine updates or only updates to the routes? Only updates to the routes with this particular release. We are investigating what we can do from a core perspective because we are aware there haven't been a huge amount of core updates recently. I know there was the fast load improvements in the last sort of 8-9 months or so, but we are working on what we can do to improve core stuff. And actually, good point to note. Me and Jamie were chatting earlier, and we're looking at what we can do from a slightly more state of play perspective to go out and actually talk about some of the things that we want to try and do with Train Simulator Classic moving forward. So we're working with the exec producer, head of third party, to kind of work out and put together what it is that we're looking to work on and how we want to try and improve the game in the long term. So a few people are talking about, is this the end of Train Simulator? No, it's not. Of course, it's not.
Definitely not. No,
I don't think even if we wanted to, it would be the end of Train Simulator. But it will be. There are lots of kind of plans afoot, lots of actually quite exciting plans afoot.
Definitely.
And we're looking forward to telling you a little bit more about them. But it's probably not going to be in the immediate future. It might be in a couple of months' time.
It's certainly a lot of little things for the community to look forward to. Definitely, for everyone. It's actually, I feel it's quite an exciting time for TS at the moment. So yeah, you have to keep an eye on and we'll keep an eye on the usual spaces, and we'll keep you updated. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've got some exciting add-ons coming as well, which is always nice to have. Always nice to have more variety of content. But as I say, we're not just looking at that. We're also looking at what we can do to improve the core experience for players as well, and maybe go back and sharpen up some of the stuff that we've already done.
Yeah.
But again, we'll be able to tell you a little bit more about that in the future, I think.
Yeah. There's Milton Keynes. So I think Milton Keynes has had I think was part of one of the updates, I think.
Yes. Let me run through exactly what it was. It was platform fixes and general fixes to Milton Keynes, Birmingham New Street and Coventry stations.
Yeah. So this was one of the buildings that's had the texture update, which is this one. And I think Milton Keynes, a lot of the problems was platforms, from what I remember. So that's now looking a lot nicer. I do love this. This is hilarious. Look at that. Look. Hello, London. Look. That's brilliant. So this is now sort of the updated Milton Keynes. So I have a funny feeling it was platform edging which was the issue, which that should now be resolved. Right, let's carry on. Bletchley next. We've got a flashing yellow. Guessing we've either got red in front of us or we've got to change over again. We'll find out in a minute. Oh, we've got 30 coming up.
Hempen has asked why would Train Simulator likely not go to consoles. I think there's a lot of challenges with taking a game that's got as much history on it as Train Simulator to consoles. Lots of technical issues that might arise from that, particularly when we've got as much of a back catalogue as we've got. I think that's probably the main reason why we're not considering taking to consoles at the present time anyway.
Yeah, I mean that was what TSW was designed for originally. Was that I think that there was a thought of bringing Train Simulator to console, but it was obviously found it was too difficult, so that's why TSW was sort of designed, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure the engine will be able to take it, to be honest with you. It will be a tremendous technical challenge, which I feel like for the benefits that we might get from it, it feels like we should focus and hone the game on one particular platform rather than trying to spread it too thinly across multiple.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Intercity's asked, would it ever be foreseeable to get an update to DirectX 11? I could give you an answer to that one, unfortunately.
No, we can't. No.
Not currently on our roadmap or internal roadmap.
No,
But as I
no.
say, we are having discussions about things like core improvements, and DirectX has been mentioned, but I don't think we've made any progress on like scoping out an improvement or an upgrade at the moment.
Just crossed over. Alright. Get that before I get an emergency stop. Alright, let's head off.
That would be your normal. Oh no, it's normally Matt that gets emergency stops.
Yeah,
That
it's
would be a
normally
previous
Matt that
stream
gets
we
the
do.
emergency stops, yeah. I mean, so I have got some recently, but there we go. There we now goes. That's a speed limit change, which is fine. No, Robert, yeah, I can't. Yeah, I just decided to keep it on. I was like, right, we'll keep the DSDE on, it's fine. Right. That's right, 75.
And Pentos, what essentially what basically is TS Classic? I think in the simplest possible terms, TS Classic is us trying to differentiate Train Sim World and Train Simulator, and to kind of pay homage to the kind of the legacy that Train Simulators had. So it would be the same core game. It'd be the same game that you have right now. It will be rebranded, and the Train Simulator Classic bundle will be the 3 routes that you can check out on our website. So the West Coast Mainline South, it will be the Bahnstrecke Riesa Dresden with the Leipzig extension, which adds another 65 kilometers to the route, and it'll also be Tehachapi Pass as well. Now, again, you can get all of those separately if you want to, and the extension will be available separately as well. But from a gameplay perspective, you obviously have the update that went in today, which you can find out a little bit more about on our forums. But for the vast majority of people who have not got that update, it will be the same game as you had before. But you don't need to do anything. You don't need to pay for anything you don't want to. You can literally just keep it as it is, and it will tick over. And what will change will be the branding on it. I like the name Classic, by the way. I think it's really good. I really like the approach we're taking with it.
I think
nice ring to it.
It feels that, you know, that this. I mean, you think of, you know, to think how long the game has had, you know, new routes and things like that. I can't think of a game or of a simulator which has kept going for this long. If you think to, you know, sort of flight simulators and things like that, you know, they move on to the next one. But train simulators kept going for so, you know, and it's not really changed as much, but it has changed in the sense of, you know, it's always getting new routes and different countries, and there's a massive, you know, third-party area as well, you know, and a large community which make fantastic, you know, workshop routes and things like that. You know, so I think Classic really gives it a really good name, you know.
Yeah, I think, yeah, and you can read kind of Classic in lots of different ways. But I look at it as something that is like a hallmark, or like a mainstay of the train simulation genre,
Yeah.
and I think that the name encapsulates that.
And I still see people doing amazing things with the train simulator. You know, there's so much new and interesting things that have been done. You know, take Smokebox's Big Boy for example. That was a fantastic locomotive and so intricate in so realistic in what it does. The same with you know some of the sort of the diesel locos for the New Zealand route. They were amazing as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Hempen's asked another good question, which is why are we choosing these particular routes? Now, when we do these kinds of things, we want to try and choose kind of a broad variety of different types of routes. So, freight, passenger, different areas of the world. What we want to try and do is we want to try and give as much variety as we can do to give kind of a rounded experience of the game as much as we can within our 3 routes essentially. And we also look back kind of the more kind of recently released routes that we think are at a quality with which we're happy with, and have kind of provide as much kind of gameplay variety as we can offer really. That's kind of the short answer. The long answer is there's a lot of other stuff that goes on in the background that sort of determines whether we choose these routes or not.
There we go. Yeah, very good point, Simman. Yes, you think of Workshop how much support Train Simulator has, as with Workshop, with all the third-party developers, from all across the world. It's quite amazing what Train Simulator does and has. It's sort of the amount of routes, locomotives, rolling stock. It's quite amazing. You've got a lot of choice in what you can play on Train Simulator.
Yeah, and they said the Steam Workshop has 1 million hours of free content made by fans, and Cyclone asked the question, only 1 million? Yeah, I think I'd be interested to see if somebody could actually tot up the amount of gameplay that is on Steam Workshop, and put a number behind it. That's a challenge to anybody that has a spare few hours over the course of the next few days.
Yeah, it would be really interesting to know. I would really love to know how many, because it's quite amazing, and it's getting updated every day. I'm looking at when I've been doing Workshop Wednesdays, and there's always something new, and I'm like, oh, what's this? And keep making stuff, because it's especially now we've got the extension coming out for Bahnstrecke Dresden Riesa. You're now going to Leipzig. I'm sure there's a lot of opportunities there now as well.
Absolutely. So we are, how far are we from Berkhamsted?
13 miles.
13 miles, okay. So we are traversing the Buckinghamshire countryside, and
yes,
we're going to be reaching into the very corner of Hertfordshire.
Yeah,
I think that's right. I'm originally from Hertfordshire, so I should know that.
Ah. Another Pendolino.
Yeah, John's asked when the next TSW2 stream is going to be. It'll be next week. So tomorrow, Jamie will be back running the new routes for TS Classic, and normal service will resume for TSW2 next week. Jamie is a busy man this week.
I am a busy man. I am yeah, very busy this week, and it's a short week as well because we've just had Easter. So yeah, it's been very busy, but nice. I'm enjoying it, and it's so nice to see some good reactions towards Train Simulator Classic. Definitely.
Yeah, it's a big week, and obviously, Jamie, you're kind of our primary Train Simulator member of the team, and yeah, it's a big week for Train Simulator. We're excited to see what your reactions are to the new extension and the kind of classic rebranding and what we've got to come as well. So yeah, exciting times.
Class 350.
DAV simulation. I think we answered this earlier in terms of core update. That there's not going to be a. I think in terms of core update, what I understand from a player's perspective, a core update is something that is an entire game-wide improvement to something, and there's nothing like that in Train Simulator Classic, at least not for the release tomorrow. But the routes that we are featuring within that bundle or that package, they all have had updates today to improve the routes. So I'm just going to send the forum thread into the chat again so you can take a look, because it's quite a long list of things.
Oh, did you, Moggy? I didn't know you were. Are you still a guard, Moggy? Then, or what? What do you? You know, I didn't realise you did guards training. Yeah, he does, Sonic Scott.
We're going to be heading over to Tehachapi Pass in a little while.
Yeah.
And we'll be showing you one of the scenarios that I think beforehand wasn't working particularly well, but has been fixed with today's update. So again, even if you own Tehachapi Pass already, you should have got an update which hopefully has improved the experience for you all.
Oh, did you, Moggy? Oh, blimey. I'm trying to keep at 100 miles an hour. Make sure. Yes, well, it is actually ice cream weather now, isn't it, Moggy? I would say.
But not on this route, it's not. But yeah, outside at the moment it is. Question for the chat: if you could only have one ice cream, what would it be? And I know that Moggy might in particular struggle with that one. If you could have one type of ice cream, what would it be? Magnum.
I was going to say Magnum. Sure. Magnum would be for me, I think.
Mini Cornetto, good shout. Yeah. Cream Egg McFlurry, that's a wild card choice.
That is a wild card.
I like it. Cookies and cream or chocolate chip cookie dough, Kit Kat ice cream. Okay.
All very different.
All very different. Mr. Quicko's gone for vanilla. A good vanilla ice cream is very good. A bad vanilla ice cream is not good. How about you, Jamie? What would you choose?
I think it'd have to be a Magnum for me. It'd have to be a Magnum. Magnum Classic. I always. Okay. I had one the other day. When was it? Sunday, actually. It was really hot on Sunday. What about you?
So there's a few people actually that have gone slightly more kind of, I suppose, traditional. People like mint choc chip. Moggy himself has gone for mint choc chip or rum and raisin. And I think I'd go along those vibes actually. From around your neck of the woods, Jamie, actually, I went to one of my best ice cream memories. This is, I categorise them into my head as like my best ice cream memories. It was actually in, I think it was either Cromer or Sheringham. I think it was Cromer. Yeah. They've got a really good ice cream shop there, and I had a apple crumble ice cream.
Oh yeah.
It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't normally go for something like that, but I had a little inside information that it was a very good one, and oh my word. It was stunning.
We do have some really good ice cream shops around here, I must admit. We do. We've got, you know, there's certainly good ones in Sheringham, certainly good ones in Cromer as well, and just the selection is just nuts. You know, if you basically, if you can think of anything sweet, 9 times out of 10 you can get it in ice cream in Norfolk.
Agreed. Oh, okay. Your ice creams are inferior. A chocolate trifle is the one. A chocolate trifle ice cream might be quite an interesting idea. I'm not sure I'd go for a chocolate trifle over an ice cream though.
I must admit, my mum did an Easter cake, so she did like a chocolate cake with mini eggs on the top. Oh, homemade chocolate cakes, fantastic.
Mini eggs again, they're my kryptonite. We went to the office. Jamie, I think we were both there, weren't we, when we had the Easter day at the office? And,
I wasn't there. No.
Oh, you weren't there. Oh, but you weren't. They had basically big old bowls of mini eggs, and I was at the point where I was actually just going to put it under my jumper and just take it back with me on the train. Just have it as a snack on the way back, because they're like Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop.
Oh dear. Right, back up to 100.
Oh, again, a very challenging question here. What's better, Cornish or Devon ice cream? Oh.
What about Jersey? Now, Jersey ice cream, man, that's a different story to me, that is.
I don't think I've ever had Jersey ice cream.
Not with Jersey milk. Oh. Oh,
Don't
sorry.
think so. Don't
Need
think
to do
so.
that.
I think I've had recency bias is probably going to come in here, because I've been to Cornwall or Devon for like the last 6 years in a row, but the last 2 I've been to Devon, and I've had some really good ice cream experiences. So I'm going to say Devon, but without remembering too much about Cornish ice cream. So I'm going to go Devon.
Okay. Moggy should know. Moggy, have you tried Jersey ice cream?
I'd be very disappointed if he hasn't.
Oh dear. Now, not far away from Berkhamsted. Some tunnels coming up.
Oh, Mocky says he hasn't.
Oh.
Never been to Jersey or the Channel Islands.
Wow. Well, there's your... I think Moggy's going to have to do a tour of the world, ice cream world tour. I think he's going to have to do at some point.
I would subscribe to that YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah, wouldn't you just? Wouldn't you just? There you go, Moggy. We've come up with your new... your new...
And Simman says something. They've got something called Tiger Claw ice cream, which is orange ice cream mixed with black licorice swirls.
Blimey.
I'm not sure about licorice. Orange ice cream sounds great, but licorice is not really my favourite, unfortunately. Okay, alright, we've gone into Devon versus Cornwall, and the obvious one, do you do jam or clotted cream first on your scones?
This conversating well. It's going into everything now.
Yeah.
We've started something, I tell you. Trains and food. That's a new series. There you go.
Yeah, I'm coming to you, Jamie. Clotted cream or jam first?
Well, the thing is, I don't have scones. That is one thing I don't have.
Just when I thought we could be friends.
I'd probably be, for me, probably would be jam though.
I don't understand why people go. I mean, again, I'm going on the Devon side here. I'm gonna go cream first, because cream's like butter. It's like the dairy that you put underneath it, like you would in a sandwich, and then you put the jam on the top. I don't get. My brain doesn't compute the other way round as being the right way round. So I'm gonna go with Devon. Sorry, we are going to come back to the actual topic in question here, which of course is trains.
You see, that's what happens when we go to a TS stream. We just end up talking about food. It's brilliant. It mainly is Moggy's fault most of the time. I'll always blame Moggy for it, mainly.
We should have a side stream or something like that, which is called the buffet cart or something like that.
Yes, we should. Yes.
Which is basically just us rabbiting on about food for the entirety whilst we just play Train Simulator or TSW.
Yeah. Everyone just go blame Moggy.
I do blame Moggy, actually.
Yeah. Right, we'll do one more stop and then we'll move over to Tehachapi.
Yeah, we are going towards Hemel Hempstead, and then we'll be moving over to. We'll be going over the Atlantic, and we'll be landing in Tehachapi Pass.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you've not, what I would say is if you own West Coast Main Line already, you haven't played it in a while, or you haven't touched it in a while, you might not necessarily have the best experience when you first played the route. Would recommend you go back to it, because there's been quite a few improvements that have happened, not necessarily just today, but over the course of the last few months, which from what I can gather from what the reviews are saying on Steam, Jamie, from what you've said as well, your
Mm.
experience of the route since it launched, it feels like a lot more positive and experienced than perhaps it might have been way back when. So
Yeah.
if you haven't touched it in a while, by all means, please do. Please jump in. Love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. Right, so currently in a neutral section at the moment. I think should end up here, I think, somewhere, unless I've already passed it. I've probably passed it, to be honest. Oh no, here it is. So these are your neutral sections. There you go. So we can now, once we've passed, we now put the power on again. There we go. Quiet Fox, no, it doesn't have passenger announcements. But you can signal the guard from the cab. Yeah, my Hempstead.
Did the chat say that this was their home station? Yeah, Joshua
Yes, it was,
Couch
yeah.
said that this Hemel Hempstead was their home station. I've never been to Hemel Hempstead. Tell me what it's like.
No, I've never been either.
I think I've played them at football before once, but we were at home, so we didn't have to make the hour-long journey there and back. LaserJet, we'll go back onto food in a bit. I feel like we've exhausted food for a little bit for a while. Even though I could wax lyrical about it for the entirety of the stream.
You see Moggy, what Moggy said, JD, that's brilliant, yeah.
I have heard, I have seen on the chat. Yes, we're gonna go on Dragon's Den, Moggy, and it will be splendid. The dragons won't know what's hit them.
Right.
Don't know quite what we'll do in the winter, but there we go. We'll make a killing over the bank holiday weekend, and that'll see us through for the entire year.
Yes, Moggy, yeah, your genius does. Brilliant. Right. Going into Hemel Hempstead. And then what we'll do is we'll finish here and go up to Tehachapi.
Yes, and we'll go through what the improvements have been to Tehachapi as well. We'll talk a little bit more about Train Simulator Classic as well.
Go and open the doors. Everybody out. Right, so there we go. That is West Coast Main Line South at the moment. So, as we said, we got the link in the forums. It'll be sort of the West Coast Main Line South updates. And what we'll do is move over to Tehachapi now and have a look at the updates there. I'll be back in a minute. Right.
I'll just put the link in the chat again, so if anybody wants to watch it, they can. Oh, sorry, check it out. They can. There are also plenty of articles on the website as well, which cover the ins and outs of Train Simulator Classic. I'm just going to splurge them all into the chat so that you can read them all at your leisure if you would like to. There we go. There's one. There's two. And there is three. So there's Leipzig Riesa in there. There's the little summary of all the routes that are included in TS Classic, and also just a very top-level introduction of what TS Classic is all about.
So we're now on Tehachapi, and one of the main things that came up, which was something that came up quite a lot, was that the BNSF locomotives had an issue with braking. That's now been resolved, so that will now work for you now. So, but what we'll do is we'll run the hotbox scenario part 2. We'll run that for the next sort of 45 minutes or so, and you can see the train sort of working with that. So after coming to a complete stop, the conductor walked down the length of the train to axle 36. Temperature stick did not melt when applied, and the temperature gun reading was normal. There was no obvious signs of overheating the report axle or any nearby axles. After reporting this to the dispatcher, you have been given permission to proceed south to Mojave. Prepare the train and depart when ready.
I can see a few people in the chat loving the pronunciation of Mojave, Jamie.
I knew someone was going to say that. I died Harvey. Yeah, that's just me. That's me pronouncing things.
That's fine. That's fine. We can have some fun with it.
Right, we're off.
People were talking about one of the reasons why we choose particular routes. Obviously, this is one of the routes which has got the new BNSF branding worldwide on it as well, which is again another really cool feature of Tehachapi, and one of the reasons why we wanted to include it in this particular pack as well.
Got 2% grade, so we've got quite a heavy grade with us.
So Jamie, could you just run us through what the problem was beforehand, and with this particular scenario and a few of the other bits and pieces on the Tehachapi route, and what would happen if we hadn't have improved it?
So basically what you would do is the train didn't have any brake settings, so I could have gone down the hill, and basically I wouldn't be able to stop. Basically, one of the other issues is that the brakes wouldn't have when you're starting off on this heavy grade, would be that you'd start off and you turn the brakes on, stop you rolling back, but you just keep rolling because the brakes wouldn't stop you, basically.
No more. Shall I run through the quick list of improvements for Tehachapi?
You can indeed.
Lovely. So we've already talked about the fixes to the brakes on the ES44DC, and also there is some tweaking on the AC as well.
Yeah.
The containers that we were talking about beforehand, so the Hamburg Süd and the Hapag-Lloyd containers are in this as well now. The scenarios, we've updated the scenarios for these new containers as well. We changed the prominent green on some of the terrain textures to be less notable, so it's slightly less green. I remember that being one of the comments actually when we launched the route. That it felt very green, and perhaps it should feel a little bit more kind of dusty. And I think we've taken that on board. Distant mountain textures have been redone. Hopefully you can see that. The textures look better than they did beforehand. Updates to the controls on the locomotives. Don't quite know how specific we wanted to be with that, but we've updated the controls. The missing loco information has been added. The wiper issues on the AC4400 have been updated, and we have added languages and some updates and fixes to localization as well.
Yeah, it's quite a long list.
Yeah, and actually they're quite significant improvements as well. It's all very well having a list of like 400 things that we've improved, but these feel like they're pretty significant things that have been changed. Simman's made an interesting suggestion about Discord rich presence in TS Classic and TSW2. That way, if you're playing on Discord, you will know what route, what current speed, and what station you've stopped at, for instance. It's an interesting idea. Without any technical know-how or knowledge at all, I have no idea how easy that is to do, how many complications might arise from doing it. I can flag it for the team though. I like the idea.
Have we got the road? We have indeed. Yeah, I'll turn the game down a little bit. Yeah, it is a bit it's a bit loud. There we go. Yeah.
They are mighty impressive.
Yeah.
So this scenario is about 90 minutes or 70 minutes total, but we're not going to do the whole thing tonight.
Yeah, it's about 90 minutes long, but we're not going to do it full.
We're Jamie will be streaming tomorrow, and we're going to keep it quite a free, flexible launch day stream. And if anybody has any requests for things they would like us to do from the 3 routes that are going to be featured in Train Simulator Classic, then let us know. We'd love to see if there's any particular scenarios you'd love us to do, or anything on the workshop that looks great that we'd love to be able to show off. Or I could ask Jamie to have a run through tomorrow for the stream. So that's where you keep fiddling with the brakes, Jamie. The cynical part of me says we want to show that they now work, but
Yeah, I am. Yeah, they are working. I'm just wondering whether I'm not leaving them to release as long as I should do, but I'm gonna because they seem to be slightly on, which I don't really want. So I'm just gonna leave them a minute and then try again.
Going along, Jamie. I'll touch on the updates to User Dresden as well.
Yeah.
Just because this is quite a long list, and again, you'll get me pronouncing some fun German words, which is always entertaining for everybody. For the Bahnstrecke Dresden Riesa, we are looking at some updates to signalling for the route. That's for the extension route. Fixes to scripting. We've added the containers to that's the Hamburg Süd and the Hapag Lloyd's containers. VVO branding for Doppelstock and the Talent 2. We've added more destinations for the IC carriages, added level crossing variants for the extension to the route, so the Dresden to Leipzig extension. We've added LZB track variations, updated the localization, obviously very important for a German route. We've replaced some trees between Riesa and sort of a diameter of 10 miles to the east. We've resolved an issue whereby quick drive northbound on RE and IC goes into P7 at Neustadt rather than P6. We fixed the AI formations in scenarios. We have at Dresden Piecken the level of detail distance has improved, so the log distance has improved. We fixed the missing emissive light at here's where it's going to get fun. Radebeul Kuzkenroda. I'm going to say that, and anyone in German in the chat can laugh at me. Improvements to the DB189LZB. I don't think we've entirely fixed it, but we've improved it. Added the IC quick drive consist with 8 or 9 carriages. We've updated the DB101 to match Frankfurt and Karlsruhe versions, with updates to the cab textures and working LZB as well. Fixes the Talent 2 formations in quick drive and scenarios. We've added a no snow track, only shown in the Leipzig routes or the Leipzig extension. We fixed the issues with containers not appearing on wagons, and we have made a fix to the DB189LZB Ender Light.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's also some improvements to the DBBR 146.5 and the BR 668.2 IC2. So there's some added in passenger view, added preload coach order, added lights to passenger view, added changeable destinations for 146 and IC2 by F7 and F8, and also localization improvements as well. So a lot of things on that route as well. And as I say, some of those are exclusive to the extension, which is part of the Train Simulator Classic pack. Some of it is also on the actual original route as well. I'm going to breathe now. Jamie, take it away.
Yeah. Well, we're slowly coming up the bank. I mean, we are on a 2% grade, and we have got a very, very heavy load, so it's going to take a little while, but we'll get there. It's fine. We're nearly at the famous curve as well, famous horseshoe, which is now coming up to the top here. Look, we're now coming up.
Oh, that's a great view. I like the aerial view.
So we're now going to go up through here and then down. Yeah, I think what I've done is I haven't let the brakes charge as much as they should have done. As I can see that it's now starting to reduce, and we're now starting to slowly pick up speed, so that's something to keep an eye on, is brake charging, because you've got quite a long train, so you can imagine releasing all the brakes on this train would take quite a while.
Oh, and it's gonna hurtle pretty quickly. It's gonna gather some pace pretty quickly down the hills.
Oh, it
I'd
is
imagine
definitely,
as well.
yeah.
So Jamie, if you're in that situation and you perhaps not charged your brakes as long as you should have done,
yeah.
When you get into this position, what can you do?
So you can use a dynamic brake, which is your locomotive brakes, if you're going downhill. Another way, it's a bit difficult to do it on this sort of grade, so I'd say if you're doing it on this sort of grade, I would just keep the power up and the brakes will just start to Moggy said panic.
That would be me.
Yeah. So I would say, personally, what I would do is in this situation, because of where we started, we just move the trains. If not, if you're trying to release the brakes, you just start rolling. So rather than just pick up speed, and hopefully the brakes will start to charge as you go up. But I'm not sure how. Or the other way of doing it is holding it under your loco brake. So you've got your independent brake. So you could put your independent brake on and then release your main brake. Probably another way you could possibly do it. I haven't had to go myself to see if there's another way of doing it, but
you've got options.
You've got options.
Line panic is not the suggested option that you
no, but you've got options.
Noted.
Yeah. But I will double check to make sure that is correct tomorrow, just to make sure that whether that should be takes a while to charge.
This is a really really good kind of railfan shots kind of route, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You get a lot of opportunities to take some very good screenshots here.
Oh yeah, as you see, that's our end of the train, and we're up here now.
Snaking through. How long is the train that we've got here? How many?
I don't know how many containers we've got. We've got quite a few. Doesn't say how many containers we've got a few. I'd certainly say we're at least, well, we're more than half a mile long, I'd say.
It's going to go about 50 or 60. Yeah, I was trying to mentally count as I was going through, and the tunnel and the movement of the carriages, sorry, the containers ended up making me having to recount about 4 times. So I'll go with 50 to 60. We'll go with 50 to 60.
Yeah. Plus we have got 4 locos as well.
True. Very true.
Slowly creeping up. And you now got pink containers sitting everywhere now. Look at this, there's one there. This is Matt's favourite thing. Look, there's another one there. Look, pink containers everywhere now.
That's got Matt Pedalston written all over it, isn't it?
It has indeed. So now our bottom of our train is now going to pass over the top of underneath us from the top. Look at that. So we're up here, and this is the bottom of our train.
How many containers do we still have to go through? Is it going to be? Yeah, we'll be fine. Okay, we will have the crossover. There we go.
That's really weird seeing the top of the train and the bottom of the train moving at the same time.
Barry, what is the loco pulling this train?
These are BNSF. Say on the side of them somewhere. I should say on the side of them. These are ES 44. I can't remember if these are the DCs or the ACs. Chat will know better than me. I'm not very good at my American diesels. So 44 DCs then. Yes, it will be Cyclone. My bad. Thank you. Yeah, BNSF ES 44 DCs. Oh, that's interesting. Thanks, David. Yeah, I wasn't sure if they use both types of DC, both DC and AC. As you see the train from our cab, look at that. As you see where the bottom of our train is now.
I imagine that's such a weird experience.
It must be,
Actually,
isn't it?
I mean, even playing this now, it feels a little bit odd because you're almost you're like the game Snake, aren't you? You're just basically chasing your tail.
Yeah.
Nokia 3310s.
Yeah. Imagine looking at a driver looking at the back of your train, just like, yep, okay, it's still there, right. You know.
Gooey.
Yep.
Just a hillbilly to make you feel better, Jamie. The ACs, the DCs, and the C4s all look the same at first glance. I think the only way to tell them apart would be to know the number series assigned to each class.
Thank you. Yep. Yep. I can easily tell you the difference between steam locos and British locos and things like that, but I'm still there's some countries I need to do some bit of learning on with different locomotives, so I'm sure I'll catch up at some point, so don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I think this is the beauty of, I suppose, being in a job like this, is that you can obviously, in particular, Jamie is a big old rail fan and has been a rail fan all his life, and there's still things that he loves to learn and wants to improve and get more knowledgeable about. So, God help me, but
no, I mean it's definitely something that I like to look at. You know, I mean there's some bits of railway history, like for example, I recently bought a lamp from the from a fair I went to on Sunday, and it's a German. I knew it was a German lamp, but I didn't know what it was for. So I contacted one of my friends who's in Switzerland, who sort of knows sort of more knowledge on the European side. And he said to me, he said, "Oh, by the way," he said, "you've just got yourself a tail lamp." I was like, "Oh, blimey!" And basically, what it was because one side, the differences between our tail lamps in the UK and the German tail lamps, actually, is quite a bit of Europe, is that the Germans used a plate with a sort of cross symbol to show that that was the end of the train on the tail, or the tail end of the train. And then at night they used to then swap it round to the lamp and then just put the red lamp on. But they used to swap, and that was why this lamp has two painted sides and one red lamp, whereas we just show the red lamp as without it being lit at night. So it shows the differences. And yeah, there you go. Cyclone said we have blinking red tail lamps. We do actually have red blinking tail lamps in the UK now, but that's mainly for freight. Passengers are just pure red lights. But yeah, it's quite interesting that you still. There's a lot I still don't know, and and I've learned a huge amount actually within the nearly 2 years I've been. Amazing, it's nearly 2 years. I only think it's three months before it's 2 years. You learn so much different railway knowledge. It's quite amazing.
yeah, we've got loads of enthusiasts at the team, haven't we, as well, who have all got different kind of specialisms and different passions, and it's good to kind of get everybody together and have a bit of a chat about it.
Yeah, definitely.
When we have, because obviously the last couple of years have been quite tough to have in person, anything that is related to being in person. We've had a couple of times where we've done in office get-togethers and whatnot, and there's always a group of people that gravitate towards each other.
Yeah.
And you can tell what's going on. There's definitely there's a vibe of talking about all things trains, and you can see how passionately everybody's talking about it and what they're up to at the weekends and all that kind of stuff. So it's great to see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because our community meetings, always after the weekend of which railway you've been to next, then Jamie, you know, and what have you been doing train related this weekend then?
Who needs Michael Portillo when we've got Jamie?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's very true. Now climbing well still.
should really. I think we should count the containers. Should we do it?
Oh, blimey, okay. 1, 2, 3,
Well, no, 4.
4, 5.
Okay, chat. Tell us how many containers you think it is, and we'll see if we're right. I'll let Jamie count it.
I got my concentrating face on now. 16.
62.
24, 25,
It's absolutely killing me.
49, unless I've missed one out.
49 plus the 4 locos at the front.
Yeah. Chat, have I got that right? You might be able to count at the bottom better than probably I've counted them myself. You could actually count the little dots down the bottom, which is an easier way of doing it.
I don't think we had any 49s in the chat. Cyclone said 50 and then moved to 52. So unfortunately,
I might have got it wrong.
You all overshot. We'll go with 49.
Go with 49.
Scenario's gonna. Cyclone's gonna go and check it. What's the name of this scenario?
A hot box 2.
Hot box 2.
Mason, no. So, Mason, do you mean? Did we? I mean, steam was used for freight. Sort of when dieselisation did take over, steam did move over to freight quite a bit in the later days, but it wasn't a sort of choice to move steam over to freight. It sort of really happened that the diesels took over from the diesels. The DMUs and units took over on mainly branch lines, so they didn't need the tank engines really. They just and smaller locomotives, they moved over to either freight work or shunting duties, or scrapped in the steam days. But most steam locomotives today in heritage lines are all passenger working, they're not freight, and whether they're a freight loco or not.
Oh, how long was this route? Any chance of a map tour?
Yeah, so this is the full map. It's quite a long one. So you go down all the way down to Mohave, isn't it?
Mojave. Better than before.
Better than before.
We'll get it right.
We'll get it right. Mojave down there, and then up here is Bakersfield. So this is the mountainous part. This is the mountain route up here, and this is sort of more of the flat plains down here.
68 miles.
There you go, 68 miles. So we're on the mountainous area at the moment. As you can see, we're on a 2.2% grade at the moment, which has taken me quite a while to do this part of the route. Yeah, Train Simulator Driver. Wasn't it a massive oil spillage or something? Or am I thinking of somewhere else? I missed one out then, Cyclone. Yeah, it's 50. I thought I would have missed one out.
49 does seem like an odd number to
It
have
does.
chosen.
Yeah.
So well done, Cyclone, you got it right. But you did then change your mind to 52, so I don't quite know how to feel about that. Train Simulator Driver says, Jamie, that the Bakersfield railway crash was a train runaway that took out a petroleum pipeline, which sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Ouch. Sounds like a very expensive and rather fiery accident.
Right, so if you don't own Tehachapi already, then obviously it's available to get now if you like, or it is available to get when the Train Simulator Classic pack launches tomorrow. If you haven't got, if you already own Train Simulator or Train Simulator 2022, your game will transform automatically over to Train Simulator Classic. That's the way it works. So just imagine this as a new pack of routes and a rebrand to the game. For anybody who hasn't got these routes and you like the look of it, then please feel free to take a look at it tomorrow. It launches sort of, we're hoping late afternoon tomorrow, UK time. We have to wait for folks at Valve to get everything lined up and ready to go. And each of the routes themselves have had a bit of a, I won't say a makeover, but a lot of fixes that have been put into them over the course of the last, update today, but a lot of the routes have had some improvements over the course of the time that they've been launched as well. So quite a lot of stuff to be talking about, to be happy about with these particular routes that are going to be put in there. And I think, as I say, as we mentioned beforehand, just because we're calling it a new name does not mean that the approach that we're taking to the game changes. In fact, actually, it probably gives us a new lease of life to kind of improve some of the core features of the game as well. And we'll go into a little bit more about that in the future, about what we've got planned for that too.
Yeah, definitely. Still slowly climbing up. I mean, it's a heavy load and it is a long grade.
Power of these locos is immense.
I know. I think it's quite. I must admit, they're quite a tall locomotive as well. When you're sitting in here in the cab, it shows you the pure size of it as well. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Chief Longshins asks, what's changed with graphics? It seems like there's a marked step improvement in quality. Well, good to hear you think that. With this particular route, we've tweaked a few bits and pieces. I think it was the color shading on the mountains, color shading on some of the mountains, some of the distant scenery on the mountains as well has been improved. I think just in terms of the actual route itself, there was a lot of work put into Tehachapi. A lot of work on trying to make it feel like it was a standalone route that and obviously this is quite a scenic route in itself. We wanted to try and make sure that that was reflected when we built it. Yeah, so I think if you talk about sort of improvements in graphics, obviously there are improvements that we do make, but it's probably more just the fact that we're able to use the tools more effectively than perhaps we were able to a few years ago or a couple of years ago. Out of the tunnel.
Yep. Yeah, we're getting there. We'll go up to CPSP 356. We'll probably sort of finish around there. We've done the big climb then. Show you some of the brakes working as well then.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just quickly touch on the improvements as well, because somebody asked in the chat.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned, the brakes have been improved on the DC and also the AC as well, but I think the DC is where the problem was. Then we've added the branding containers that you might have seen at the start of the stream, and also we've shown you the one containers as well. But you've got Hapag-Lloyd and Hamburg Süd containers now, which are on this route. There is some updated scenarios for those new containers and the new quick drive consists as well. We've changed the prominent green that you might have seen on the hills beforehand to a slightly more dusty hue. So I think that we put it in the patch notes as less notable. I think I prefer dusty hue. Distant mountain textures have been redone, so they look a little bit sharper. The updates to the controls on the locomotives as well. I don't have any more details other than to be more specific than that. There's been missing loco information added. The wiper issues on the AC 4400 have been updated, and there are a couple of localization improvements as well. Thinman said, Jamie, you're doing well on the scoring. If you're in with a positive score in TS, you are a pro for sure.
Oh, I wouldn't say I'm a pro, but I've been playing it for quite a few years.
He's got a lot of experience. He is a pro. He's the person that looks forward to the pro range coming out and being able to try and tackle and master the more complicated and complex locos around him. He loves Steam. Yeah, well, what can you say?
I mean, that is very true. I'm going to say I don't know that. Go. Alright, nearly up to next passing loop. As you can see, we're now coming up to the passing loop here. I think there's a down train now waiting for us as well. I don't know if this is down. Well, I don't know which is down and up on the line. That's one thing. So look over here. Yeah, another BNSF train now coming the other way. We'll pass it on our way up. Which signal, Cyclone?
Yeah, interesting. If there's anything that's changed beyond what we've put in the patch notes, then let us know.
Yeah.
Because either we need to update the patch notes or there's something that's not gone quite right there. I think we did update the signalling.
Yeah.
to kind of help with the extension being included in the new route. So that might be what that was.
There we go. Currently on a 2.3% grade. It's amazing how heavily graded this line is. And we're now going to do a pass.
This is exciting.
Depends on which. Probably that train is going faster than what we are, I imagine. Let's do it this way then. There we go. Yeah,
you can see the little incline there, can't you? Well, not the incline. You can see the incline there.
Yeah. Get my mouse to play.
Yeah, definitely going quicker than us.
Yeah. It's got to stop before it hits us. This is going to be rather interesting. Yeah, it's going to be fine.
Perfect stop.
Cool, that was close. There we go. Oh, this has got a train in the middle as well, look at that. Look.
Oh wow.
So we've got that lot, and then this full rake as well. So it's quite a, that's a longer train than ours, I think. Or slightly longer.
How many do we think?
I'm not going to sit there and count. I got it wrong last time.
Being asked to F6, Jamie, so that people can see what train that is.
Mine's come up. There you go. And we are... I forgot about the F6 button. Quite clever that.
You relearn something new every day.
You do, definitely. Right, we'll get the end of the train through, and then we'll do a stop there then, and then we'll finish there.
Okay, awesome. Well, while we're winding down then, Jamie, I'll just do a quick recap then of TS Classic and what we've talked about over the course of the stream. So for those who have come in over the last maybe 20 minutes or so, or a little bit later than we originally started the stream, TS Classic is a free update essentially, so don't have to worry if you own any of these three routes already. So Tehachapi, West Coast Mainline South, or Riesa Dresden. I always forget Riesa Dresden. Then you don't have to worry. You should have got an update today, which updates the routes with some very handy little patches that we have included on our forums. If you want to check out the full list, please do so. And if you don't own any of the routes, you'd like to get them, they're obviously available separately, or they're available as part of the TS Classic bundle, which is those three routes, plus also the extension from Riesa to Leipzig, which is about 65 extra kilometers, and is also going to be available separately if you're interested in that as well. So think of TS Classic as a free update where we are going to be changing the branding of Train Simulator 2022. That'll all change over tomorrow, so you'll get an update probably late afternoon UK time tomorrow, and that's when the package will also be available as well if you wish to invest any time or money into it. Hope I've tried to keep that as concise as possible. It's not the easiest concept to try and get across, but if you have any questions, please join us on the forums, comment on our socials. We'll try and answer what we can do. I think I haven't mentioned the price actually.
No, you haven't. No,
I will do that.
Yeah.
It is TS Classic or Train Simulator Classic is £19.99, €27.99, or $29.99. So it's slightly cheaper than well, it is cheaper than the kind of the standard price of a route. But you're getting 3 routes there, plus the extension for £19.99, €24.99, or $29.99. So yeah, it's a really good deal. If you want to get, I mean, it's pretty much worth it if you want to get one or, well, sometimes even one of those routes. But if you want to get 2 or 3, then it's definitely worth it.
Right, there we go. Those trains are about the same length. So that's rather interesting as well. Right, so what we'll do is we'll do a stop here.
Lovely. Yeah, Cyclones asked, did people guess? People haven't guessed yet. No, but I'm gonna go 50. I'm gonna do it. Jamie, what number are you going for?
I'm gonna go for about the same as well. I think it's about 50.
Right, I'll go 51 then.
There we go.
Just so that we don't have the same answer. Cyclone, hit us with it. And we've got a little bit of a stream delay, so I'm going to try and fill while the chat filters through. His count was 48, not including the engine in front of the final 21 cars.
Fair enough.
Should have got 49. Oh well.
There we go. So there we go.
Yeah.
That is it. That's the stream for tonight. Hope you enjoyed it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And let myself and Jamie know what you might want to see tomorrow night's stream, which will be showing the Train Simulator Classic routes. We're going to be keeping it nice and chilled, so we're going to be taking requests on what you'd like to see. So if there's any particular scenarios or anything you'd like us to show, then please let us know. We'll add that to the repertoire for tomorrow night.
Definitely. There we go. So yeah, and don't forget, as we said, keep an eye out for when we release Train Simulator Classic. Also, as said, have a look at the patch notes. There's quite a lot in there, and if you haven't already, have a play and give us some feedback as well. Definitely.
Lovely. Yeah, we hope you will enjoy it, so yeah, let us know what you think. And other than that, should we sign off for the evening, Jamie?
I think we should.
You do the honours.
Yeah. So yeah, I will be on tomorrow for some more fun and games on Train Simulator Classic. So look forward to that. It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me, Jamie. Say Mojave to finish.
Mojave.
There we go. Let's finish up there.
All right. See you soon, guys. Take care.